song.
No, you screwed up again. Okay.
Why are you blaming it on me? You told me.
You're the one that does the playlist. You didn't check with our guests as to what the song was. You didn't do a lot of things this show, and I've had to take over. But that's okay. The rest of the show is not about us. It's not about hitting the 12. It is about an event happening Saturday within the 12.
Yes.
And that's November Rain.
November Rain.
Yes, coming up November 18th. And, of course, in studio with us right now, a man that has a lot to say. He is Primo Scordino.
In the flesh.
Yes, he is here. He's made it live.
I was going to do it a little bit more wrestling, like Primo Scordino.
All right, if you want. I think that's cheese. But, I mean, speaking of flesh, Primo, yours got split open a little.
Yeah, it did.
Yes. Last show when we were at the Columbus Club of Niagara, Jake O'Reilly slammed a 50-50 bucket when the match got out of hand, which it always does between the Italianos and the Piss Venoms. And a 50-50 bucket, a steel bucket. No joke, no part of the match, none of this nonsense. Slammed over your head, and you were split open with the Crimson Mask.
Yeah, but you know what? It didn't slow me down none.
No, it does not. You never slowed down.
It actually did the exact opposite. As soon as I took my hand and I wiped my forehead and I saw that blood, it was game on.
That's right. Yeah, well, you've been split open many, many times before.
Many times.
And as I was saying earlier in the show, you know, you and Stickball Tony Carboni as the Italianos, the longest reigning tag team in all of Canada, are used to getting your head split open. I've been in many, many Sicilian street fights over the year. I'm calling this one a Sicilian street fight too because that's got to come back because that's what it's going to be this Saturday.
And keep in mind, the Italianos have never lost a street fight.
Never. Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Have you been in a six-man street fight situation?
We've been in other hardcore matches.
Yeah.
Where there's been numerous amounts of people.
Yeah.
Street fights, it's usually just me and Stickball, but I got complete faith in Crazy Steve. He's crazy.
I as well do. He's unpredictable. He's got a record that is unmatched with anybody.
And me and him, we go way back.
Yes, he's from Impact Wrestling, and he's no stranger to tag teams, of course, with Rosemary, with Sanity back in the day, and... yes, it was.
He's known to get a little hardcore. I mean, he just wrestled Tommy Dreamer in a hardcore match, and
that's right.
I mean, he like I said, he's nuts. He's crazy.
He has a fork
He's
on him
dangerous.
somewhere. Yes,
and creepy in a good way.
Yes, I guess so. Yes, but this is going to be an all-out war because when you think about it, the Piss Venoms. Let's talk about the Piss Beaters. Let's talk about Anthony Darko and Jake O'Reilly. Maybe the second longest tag team. I don't know.
Possibly. I don't really care, to be honest.
No, I know. You don't care. We're not here to talk about that.
I can't even talk about it without laughing.
No, an experienced tag team, many, many years. The Piss Beaters could be the second longest running tag team, a successful tag team, a tag team that I've legit managed over the years as well.
Really?
Yes, because they were so successful. Jake O'Reilly is a fighter. Anthony Darko is a fighter from Broad Street, Philadelphia.
I don't know.
El Tornado, this is the point I'm getting at. El Tornado been in many, many tag teams in the past with TNT.
I mean, Tornado's probably the most experienced wrestler in all of Ontario.
Well, here's something I'm going to throw at you I think nobody has thought of. Okay? In this match, this six-man tag team match, there is over 120 years of wrestling ring experience.
Wow.
Did
you sit down and, calculate that?
El Tornado, 20 years. Jake O'Reilly, 20 years. Anthony Darko has got to be in around 20 years. Crazy Steve, 20 years. The Italianos, 20 years. We're sitting around, well, let's say for a close, over 100 years of experience. Where do you get something like that in one match?
I mean, Tornado actually is even longer than 20 years. That's
right.
He's actually over 30.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but you know what the best part is? He's never been in a street fight, and he's never been in a street fight with the Italianos. Yes. And it was actually Tornado that busted me open, not Jake O'Reilly. Jake O'Reilly's not capable of doing that.
It was Tornado, I thought, for my advantage. But I know Jake O'Reilly. I have known him over the years. I've known you over the years. And over the years, there's legit heat between you guys. You've never liked each other.
I mean, it's been an ongoing battle between us for 20-something years.
Yeah.
We both kind of started off at the same time. We both kind of wrestled each other at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And it's just grown and blossomed into this mega feud that has lasted over 20-something years. And there's hostility, for sure. For sure. Who's the better? I'm the better. Who's
Well-
the tougher? I'm the tougher.
Yeah.
Right? Every time he tries to take me out, he can't get the job done. That's it.
How many of those matches have resulted in blood?
Quite a few.
And how often did you continue after the blood?
Every single time. That's why I said when I saw it at the last show, it was game on. It kind of drove me further. The adrenaline was going. I was like, all right, now we're in it. It almost like it woke me up.
Yeah.
There was no hesitation or anything. You just wiped it and just kept
going.
Yeah, well, that's what you do, Primo. And like this Saturday, is this going to be the end of this? Are we? I mean, we're going until bodies hit the floor.
100%.
That's right.
100%. It's the battle to end the score. We were supposed to have this battle many years ago, and then Stickball ended up getting injured.
Yeah.
And then when he came back, when we were coming back in May, they knew that we were going to settle the score from years ago. That's why they took Stickball out.
Yeah, they always
before
Dirty
that
dog,
first show.
They always go after Stickball. He's
Right?
the biggest on the team. He's the
He's the strongest. He's the scariest.
Yes, I'm not throwing shade on what you
and
do.
they
at
only
all.
ever get him when he's alone.
When his back is turned.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because they can't get him face to face.
No.
Well, and they haven't been able to do that. I mean, it's escalated into this. Crazy Steve is now involved. This is going to be the sickest, craziest match. Crazy, no pun intended, but craziest match that Neo Pro Wrestling has ever had.
Agreed.
Yeah, a Sicilian street fight. It goes all out. It goes all over the building. It's going to be wild. It's going to be insane.
He'll even go out of the building.
Yes.
Nothing's off hands here.
No.
Because when you get into a Sicilian street fight, Primo, and I've seen you over the years do these Sicilian street fights, it's not necessarily about wrestling. That's not about rules. It's about throw the rule book out the window and anything goes.
There will be no actual wrestling involved in this match.
Yeah.
It will be straight up fighting and violence and anarchy and chaos and blood and weapons. There ain't going to be any hammerlocks or headlocks.
No.
There's going to be punches and kicks and me hitting somebody with my baseball bat.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Neo Pro Wrestling, November Rain, this Saturday,
Yeah.
November 18th. Doors are at what time?
Meet and greets at 4:30.
Yeah.
Doors are at 5:30.
Now
Show
let's,
starts.
6 p.m.
let's talk about that meet and greet for a minute. Cassie Lee is coming down,
Yeah.
formerly known as Peyton Royce.
Big star.
Yes, and the meet and greet is going crazy. Tell us a little bit about Cassie Lee.
Cassie Lee is formerly known as Peyton Royce. She was former WWE Women's Tag Team Champion, won the belt at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't get much bigger than that.
No,
This
it
is
does
one
not.
Of the, One of the most popular and one of the most famous women in modern day wrestling.
Yeah, the biggest stage of them all is WrestleMania, and winning a championship on that biggest stage of them all is something that not just anybody can do.
Correct. And she's excited to come and meet all her fans in Niagara Falls.
Yeah, it's probably the first time she's been in Niagara Falls
Ever.
in a public
Yes.
forum, I guess.
100%.
Married to hometown hero Sean Spears,
Yep.
who has also made a huge name for himself in the wrestling business, defending the Grand Independent Championship for the first time against Tarek.
Correct.
And if I'm not mistaken, Primo, I think this is the first time that those two competitors ever faced
First
each
time
other
ever matchup. Yeah.
in a wrestling ring.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
And we already talked earlier about the 2v1 Jeremy Elliott, Godson William versus Jesse Bieber.
Yeah, now most people would think that Jesse Bieber's the one that's on the lower end here. What am I trying to say? You know,
Well-
because it's 2-on-1, he has the disadvantage.
That's right.
Yes.
I actually think it's the other way around because I think Jeremy Elliott's going to be concentrating too much on trying to protect his son more than actually concentrating on the match. And
Yep.
Jesse Bieber can expose that.
And that's an interesting point that I never thought of, Primo. Also, the fact that William the Godson doesn't have that much ring experience. Definitely not as much as Jesse Bieber, who's done Northern Tours and is
Exactly.
always wrestling. That could be interesting. Plus the fact that Jesse Bieber is undefeated at Neo Pro Wrestling, even with a win over Heath
Yep.
Slater.
Yeah, that's a lot of experience. And I mean,
Yeah.
we've seen Jesse Bieber over the years blossom into a very talented performer, and I don't think he's going to let anything get in his way.
Absolutely not. No, this is another war that's been brewing over at Neo Pro
Yeah.
Wrestling over the past since the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So check that out. Do you want to talk about the women's title tournament?
Well, I was actually just gonna go into the Daddy Davis Vince Valor match.
Another match that has some bad blood brewing there.
Yeah.
You know, Andy, since coming back at Neo, he stuck his nose into Tiberius King's business in the first show, and then right before his match at the last show, he came out and attacked him, and now Vince, being King's very last student at the Neo Dojo, King being unable to wrestle, of course, you know, Vince is stepping up and being like, what are you doing? You know, he's defending King's honor.
That's right.
So,
and the interesting bad blood, well, there's also Andrew Davis, Daddy Davis, formerly known as Andrew Davis, who was a student as well as Tiberius King's, which was a slap in the face. And also taking Tiberius King out at the last show in that four-way match to determine the number one contender, taking his opportunity away at a title match against Sean Spears, and also calling himself the new king.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, Daddy is he's a character.
Yeah,
he's come into his own a lot in the last
he definitely has
recent years, and he's extremely talented
for sure.
I just don't know what the motive behind his actions are. So
I guess his motive, I believe, is just to get to the top of the roster at any means necessary. It may be a little bit cheese with him doing Daddy Davis.
Yeah, he just wants to be called Daddy.
He's a father. Yeah, he's a father.
All right, let's get into the Scotty the Body, Clay Wilson match.
Yeah, so Scotty the Body coming back. I wasn't at the last show. He was at the first show.
Yeah.
Impressive win over Daddy Davis, actually. So he couldn't make it the last show, unfortunately, but he's back this time, and he's looking to, same thing, propel himself up the ranks.
Yes, and a number of messages came in at the GoNeoPro.ca and Facebook. A lot of people like Scotty the Body. They're happy to have him back. He's a fan favorite. Hopefully we can get him at many more shows, but it'll be great to see Scotty the Body here back in Niagara.
Yeah.
We got some newcomers, Bryce Hansen and Jason Kincaid.
Yeah, so Jason Kincaid is a newcomer to Neo, but not a newcomer to wrestling.
Yeah.
He's very experienced.
I was talking
veteran
newcomer
wrestler.
to Neo.
Yes, newcomer to Neo. Never been in the area before. I mean, he's been all over the world, submission specialist, and he's coming up against a very young and talented kid that's doing everything right.
Yeah.
In Bryce Hansen.
Yeah.
You know, 19-year-old, fresh out of training school, putting work in the gym, putting work in the ring. He's getting as much experience as he can, and he's getting his face out there. So, I mean, that's going to be quite the... now that's going to be a wrestling match.
Yeah, this is 9 matches on this card. We are exploding.
I know.
We are exploding.
Yes.
We're not even
Everybody
done
wants
yet.
to be in Neo.
You know what? With all of these great matches happening that we just announced, you can't forget Cody Deaner is also on the card against Tyler Turba.
Yeah.
Now that's a 5-star match anywhere.
Yeah, what more do you need to say about those two?
No, you really don't need to say anything. Cody Deaner, obviously from Impact Wrestling. Tyler Turba.
Wrestling is wrestling is wrestling.
Yeah, sure. You know what? No, you're right, Primo. Nothing more needs to be said. That match speaks for itself. That is worth a ticket alone. Cody Deaner versus Tyler Turba.
I'd say the
That's a
3
main
on
event.
3.
That's a main event
Yes,
anywhere in the world.
It is a main event. Absolutely.
Well, there's also lots of women coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vanna Black, Miley.
2 newcomers to Neo.
Yeah.
Yes.
2 very young
New to the
go-getters.
business, yes.
Yeah.
Young go-getters that are really getting themselves out there and want the experience, and they both want to make a name for themselves, in Neo, because they know Neo's rich history of women. You know, we have
Absolutely.
the women that have gone on to be Impact champions, TNA champions, WWE champions, WWE Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Angelina Love. We've had Tracy
I'm partial
Brooks.
to the women, so of course,
Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix.
Wow.
Yes.
WWE Hall of Famers. So these girls know that, Neo.
Rosemary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neo is, I don't want to say upper echelon, but they're definitely upper echelon when it comes to the history of women.
Well, here
so
in
they want
Niagara-
to make their mark, right?
Here in Niagara, that's exactly what it is. And those 2 ladies have made a quick name for themselves very early on in the wrestling business.
Very talented.
And to land here at Neo, that's going to be something to see. A lot of people have written comments about Miley. A lot of people are behind Miley, and it'll be great to see Miley there.
Seen her at CWF Studios.
Yes. And what a match that will be.
That'll be a good match.
And leading into the women's tournament.
Yes.
Yes.
The women's tournament continues. Primo explained the rules of the women's tournament.
Very simple. It's very much like if anyone's a soccer fan, it's very much set up like the World Cup round robin stage of the tournament. Each woman has to fight each other at least once. A win is 3 points, a draw is 1 point, a loss is 0 points. And the two women with the most points after the end of the round robin goes on to the championship bout.
And
so
this weekend we have Nikita versus
returning.
Silesia Sparks.
Also returning.
Yeah, so that'll be because each of them have 1 point so far.
No.
Not
Silesia.
Oh, not
Nikita has a win.
Nikita
And
Casey Spinelli.
Casey
Spinelli has
Yes.
a win. And Casey Spinelli has a loss.
Yes.
Silesia has a loss.
Okay.
So she's in a
So
do or
she
die
could-
situation here.
yes, okay.
So if she loses, she's out. So she knows that. She's coming guns a-blazing. I'm
Yeah.
sure she's hitting the gym hard, pumping up. I mean, she's in great shape, and she's not someone that you take lightly, that's for sure.
This, I'm going to say from my perspective as a wrestling fan, could be the biggest card in years here in Niagara. This is 9 matches, solidly booked.
Yeah.
5-star matches up and down the card. This is huge. You're definitely getting your money's worth. Go neopro.ca for the remaining tickets left for November Rain. And Primo Scordino, I've seen you with many of these street fights, and I know what you do after the street fight is you go and do a little drinking and celebrating.
Oh, we're going to be drinking.
Yes. And
After party.
yes, let's talk about it. It's been announced this week. Neo Pro Wrestling is having a big after party. The fans are invited, and that's going to be at the Regency. And Primo, I'm sure you and your crew will be there.
Oh, I will be there,
Yeah.
Celebrating my victory in the street fight.
Yes.
Maybe, making myself feel good, licking my wounds a
Yes,
little bit.
yes.
I'm expecting to be a little bruised up, but nothing a few whiskey sours can't fix.
Yes.
Well, if you have any more cuts, I can handle it. So
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Now, may I ask a question of this? Because off record, behind the scenes, it's never been out there public, but you've been in a few fights that have happened inside a bar.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure Jake O'Reilly and Anthony Darko, if they do, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if a fight breaks out at the Regency.
You know what?
No?
I'm going to say probably not for the
Okay.
mere fact that
Yes.
I don't think they're going to be in walking condition after the
Probably not. Yes.
Exactly.
Jake O'Reilly's a little tougher than Anthony Darko. He may be, crawling, but I don't think either of them are going to be walking, especially once Crazy Steve's done with Anthony Darko. He's got that fork. He's going after Darko, and I mean, who knows what will be left of either of them after the match.
Yeah.
Go NeoPro.
Yes.
.ca. This Saturday, November 18th,
Yes.
November Rain, Columbus Club of Niagara.
I'm just going to give you a quick recap. Cody Diener versus Tyler Turva. My phone is messed.
You're slow.
You do it.
Well, I had it all.
Horrible.
Cody
horrible
Diener
Ray.
versus Tyler Turva.
Wait. I got it. Okay, we got Nikita, Silesia Sparks.
Yes.
Great match.
Vanna Black, Miley.
Look
Yes.
forward to that match.
Cody Diener, Tyler Turva.
Main event.
Jason Kincaid, Bryce Hansen.
Very interesting.
Deadly Venoms, the Italianos, and Crazy Steve.
Most violent match of the year.
Scotty the Bunny versus Clay Wilson.
Yeah. Star Maker.
Vince Valor versus Daddy Davis.
Bad blood there.
Jesse Beaver versus Jeremy Elliott and his godson William.
Ooh, that very interesting concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Sean Spears versus Tarek.
Championship.
Match, man. Beat that card anywhere in Ontario. I'll just put it out there myself.
Something for everybody on that show.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Nine
of
solid
course-
matches.
Yeah, get your tickets, and then after party
We will see you at the Regency, yeah.
Back to the 80s is playing.
Yep. They're putting on another set. They're going to do 4
Yeah,
sets.
they're adding on